something like this. I'm just going to do this quickly with this notebook. We have camera. Yeah. Oh, the closer one. Don't we have a closer one? Sorry. I know we had like camera point 2. All right, here we are. It went something like this. This is the thing that you do when you're bored in math class. It's a doodle game. So the game is you draw some sort of shape, like a triangle, and then you put the biggest circle you can in it. And that's not a very good circle. Let's kind of do that again. All right. Triangles, circles. And then you just fill up the space with the biggest circle you can and the space left over. And you do that again. And again. Tiny spaces. And, you know, it's supposed to look awesome, right? If you do enough of it. There's some limitations on this, right? In theory, you can do this infinitely many circles. You know, there's always a little space left over every time you put a tiny circle. There's still infinitely more. The limit on a notebook, though, you can't do infinitely many because eventually your pencil gets like a little too dull. Like there's too much. Right, it has a certain thickness, and especially this pencil is straight out of the box, and it's already getting too dull to get infinitely many circles, which is kind of a problem. Rees, ladies and gentlemen. He says I need his help.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to help Hart because her pencil isn't sharp enough. And I'm also here to help all of you because you don't know anything about sharpening pencils. Fortunately, I don't suffer from that condition. In fact, I have literally written a book about how to sharpen pencils. This book comes out in 2 months, but if you'll indulge me, I'd like to read from it this morning, in the hopes that some of you will take away some minuscule percentage of my astonishing knowledge vis-a-vis pointing a pencil. It's a technical term. Can I have a couple minutes here, Vi? As we have established backstage.
This morning is about learning. And
I agree. And I'm about to school these animals. I'm going to need 5 volunteers from the class. 5 volunteers. Would you please raise your hand? There will be physical activity involved, and there will be a slight risk of danger. Keep that in mind. Let's have this gentleman. You can make your way up the side. This woman on the front row. This woman here in the white t-shirt. The gentleman with the long hair. And then, I tell you what, who is the oldest sea monkey volunteer in the audience? I want to educate a broad spectrum of humanity's ages.
24, yeah!
Must be nice. Is there anyone here in their 50s who is interested in volunteering? Anyone in their 50s? How old are you, sir? 57. Can anyone top 57? How old are you? 58. Oh, you're 59. You're 59. Are you interested in volunteering? Come up. Let's do it. You guys. Vi, I hope you don't mind if I address you with my back turned to you. I feel most comfortable talking to women that way. There are many pencil pointing techniques, Vi, but I thought this morning it would be fun to share with the class some of the more creative and silly pencil pointing techniques. My book, of course, has 18 chapters of different pencil sharpening methods. And I thought that this morning it would be fun to read from chapter 16, Novelty Pencil Sharpening Techniques. So let's do that. You folks await your cues. And I should let you know, one of you will be spending some time on your hands and knees. So just be ready for that. Chapter 16, Novelty Pencil Sharpening Techniques. There was a time when any pencil sharpener, man or machine, was a novelty. Pencils as we recognize them have existed for centuries. Yet it is only in the past 200 years that pencil sharpeners have become so familiar as to lose the shock of the new. For certain adrenaline junkies, this familiarity means a constant search for new, more radical ways of sharpening a pencil. Although one could criticize such novelty seekers for not being content with the novelty of a well-hewn pencil that stands athwart history in our age of automation and disposability, it is perhaps more rewarding to join in the hunt. To that end, I present here a few novelty sharpening techniques, some old, some new, that will engage both craftsman and audience. First volunteer, make your way to the island of sharp pencils. Good morning, what's your name?
Acorn.
Acorn. What's your real name?
Acorn.
Okay.
Acorn Nathan Norton Spider 7F Plumbing Pulley is my full name.
Be advised, I'm extremely hungover. If you could just pick a single normal name that will not tax my brain to its limit, I would appreciate it, sir.
Acorn.
A big round of applause for Jeff, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, I'm going to hand you two objects. One is a number 2 pencil. The second is the Alvin Brass Bullet Single Blade Pocket Sharpener. I highly recommend this single blade pocket sharpener for your basic sharpening needs. Make a note of that.
You know, I'm an artist. Is a basic pencil sharpener going to cut it here?
I trust you won't be disappointed by it. Take this object in hand. My one request this morning to all the volunteers, because this is kind of a trial run for my book tour, is do not assume anything about the technique you are about to deploy. Follow my written instructions to the letter, assuming nothing about any physical activity that will or will not occur on the stage in my presence. Have I made myself clear? Technique number 1, sharpening a pencil behind your back. This technique is said to have been inspired by Jimi Hendrix, the famous guitarist who reveled in outlandish and theatrical flourishes. One of Hendrix's signature gestures, of course, was to play his guitar behind his head. Some people argue Jimi Hendrix had to resort to playing the guitar behind his head in order to distract people from the fact that he was a mediocre musician. I disagree. In fact, Jimi Hendrix was one of the top 500 guitar players of the 1960s. His moments of behind-the-back exuberance were actually a celebration of his talent, as well as a challenge to his audience. If you think I'm not very good at playing guitar, how do you explain the fact that I'm currently doing so behind my head while dressed like a gypsy? No need to answer, just enjoy another interminable rock and roll guitar solo. One of the most difficult things about playing a guitar behind one's head is that it is impossible to see the strings, frets, and buttons of the guitar while doing so. The guitar teacher who begins his first lesson with, "Put this Les Paul behind your head," is not to be trusted, as the technique requires a long-established comfort and familiarity with the instrument. The same is true for sharpening a pencil behind one's back, and is why I don't recommend this novelty technique for anyone with fewer than 200 hours of sharpening experience under his or her belt. We will forego that because we are at sea. Insert the pencil into the sharpener. Raise your arms over and behind your head. Don't be alarmed if you can no longer see the pencil or sharpener. This is because they're behind you. Sharpen as usual. Face dog is here. No, face dog is here. Sharpen as usual, making sure that the shavings don't fall inside the back of your shirt. To the casual onlooker, of course, it looks as though you're simply stretching your arms or adjusting your shirt collar. But the small, steady sound of a pencil being sharpened will complicate their theory and drive them to distraction. Where is that sound coming from? Is somebody sharpening a pencil in here? All I see is a guy or gal stretching their arms or maybe adjusting their collar. This is the time to turn around and reveal your behind-the-head handiwork to the bewildered company. A moment's glance and they will understand everything.